Hello everyone and welcome back to the New York Empoleon's Week 2 Team Builder of the PAC. It's our first Team Builder. We are taking on the Chernobyl Dragalges this week, coached by Bruno. And if you have not seen them before, I have not seen them before, so go check them out. Links in the description below. They did pick up a win in their first week. We also picked up a win in our first week, so we're both looking to improve to 2-0 here. And hopefully we can find a way to win against what is an absolutely terrifying team. But if you want to see any of the terrifying teams, not mine or my opponents, all the links are in the description below. Go check them out. Hopefully you enjoy all the content from all the coaches this season. Anyway, my opponent's team is Sneasel, Terrakion, Blacephalon, Zygarde 50%, Rotom, Kangaskhan, Milotic, Mesprit, Scizor, Galarian Weezing, and Tangela. So this week is going to be a brutal battle. Their offense is so good. Zygarde, Blacephalon, Terrakion. Their defense is so good in Milotic, Galarian Weezing. They've also got Scizor as a cleaner if they need it. They've got Rotom off the ground as an annoyance. It's just such a good team. I'm jealous that they have it. I want it. But we're going to have to try to beat it. That's step one. So Rotom Heat could be our lead, could not be our lead, depending on the way the matchup looks. But it's Reflect, Light Screen, Volt Switch, Will-O-Wisp. It literally can't touch a Zygarde 50% outside of Willowing it, which could be a huge risk because Sub or Lumberry could make sure this Rotom just dies, and that would be unfortunate. Although burning the Lum would be kind of okay with me. It is Light Clay. We are just going to be rocking out with this thing. It is defensive. It has a little bit of speed investment in case something's trying to creep it, but otherwise, I really wasn't looking for a ton of defensive investment on it this week. I just wanted it to be able to tank maybe one hit behind a Reflect from a Zygarde that isn't banded or anything. I can live 1,000 arrows. That's sort of the idea. And Zygarde can't just hard switch in because of the fact that I do have Willow. It is worth preserving even at low health, even though I don't have Boots, or I also don't have Defog this week, because there's not a ton of hazard control on my opponent's roster, similar to mine. They have Toxic Spikes, which doesn't really do anything, and then they have like Terrakion and Mesprit as their possible rockers. And Terrakion wants to do something else. Mesprit, I don't see coming. It could, but I don't. It's probably not the Mon I would bring if I was in their position. Next up, we have the Lurantis. Lurantis this week is going to be Assault Vest with a max defense set to try to just tank hits from the Zygarde. It's my only switch into it. So Rotom's in, Zygarde comes in, set up a Reflect. Zygarde goes for 1,000 arrows. I can go into Lurantis. It takes like 12%. It's amazing. It doesn't take anything. If they do decide to have Sludge Wave, I have the Assault Vest, so I can take a Sludge Wave as well. So I can definitely take 1,000 arrows into a Sludge Wave. Even with the poison, I can still live. Leaf Storm's doing about 30 to 40% to a Zygarde, which is super nice. And the next one would kill. Knockoff would get rid of whatever item it is, which is great. Superpower is useful for something that potentially could switch into this, and then I get +1, and then Psycho Cut is there for the Weezing if in a pinch I need to fight it. But this thing basically baits in the Weezing and goes for a knockoff, which is super nice. Or it baits in like maybe Milotic. I know it's like not the greatest thing in the world to bring in a Milotic against Lurantis, but it could, and then knockoff would get rid of the Flame Orb, which would be really nice, or the leftovers depending on what it is. I do have to watch out for the Terrakion a little bit, but Superpower would catch that, as well as Leaf Storm and Psycho Cut, so I don't know if that would come in on a Lurantis, but knockoff is just generally spammable. Scizor also doesn't appreciate the knockoff, which is super nice. Next up is Urshifu. I almost didn't bring it this week, honestly. This is like a tough Urshifu matchup, but I couldn't not bring it. So I'm Choppleberry to try to take a hit from the Terrakion in a pinch with U-Turn, Wicked Blow, Close Combat, and Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is there in case something gets out of hand, like the Blacephalon or the Zygarde, and just try to hopefully kill it. I mean, I'm not promising it's going to do a ton of damage, but it's hopefully not going to like lose me the game. This thing does get walled by the Weezing hard, and so just U-turning out on that is nice. I wanted Iron Head so badly, but I couldn't put it on the set. But yeah, I get super hard walled by Weezing, so U-turning out on the Weezing into my answers to Weezing would be preferred. That's the ideal situation we would find ourselves in. Speaking of answers to Weezing, it is going to be these Toxtricity this week. Toxtricity is going to be Boom Burst, Overdrive, Toxic, and Substitute. Comes in on the Weezing, takes any hit. Both stabs do not break a sub based on the investment I have. Sub comes out, I have Black Sludge to recover health. If the Zygarde comes in, I can click Boom Burst and do over 50% to it on the 1,000 arrows, and be able to make sure that I have a hit off on that, which is nice. It can't do it twice, and then I can switch out after that. Toxic can come out as well, hit basically everything on the roster that's relevant. And that'd be you know, super nice. Wheezing can't stay in on this. It can't do anything to me. None of the stabs break the subs. It can't status me because I outspeed. And then I can just Boom Burst on it on the turn that it's, you know, still in there. Boom Burst does more than Overdrive, but Overdrive was useful because Boom Burst doesn't hit Blacephalon, and Overdrive does. It also does more to the Scizor, so that's another reason to run Overdrive in addition. Next up, we have the weakness policy set on this thing. I did run weakness policy and not autotomize this week. I need to have Toxic King Shield. Unfortunately, this thing just couldn't do everything, and I wanted to autotomize really badly, but like it really doesn't take a super effective hit that well, so it needs to just take it and attack with like an Iron Head. Like it needs to take an Earthquake from Terrakion and immediately Iron Head. Autotomizing doesn't really do much because it just doesn't get me over any of the speed tiers of anything. Shadow Sneak is still necessary for the Blacephalon even after the Autotomize would be used, and so I just decided to go Iron Head with Shadow Sneak. If Terrakion comes in and hits me, I survive. Iron Head into Shadow Sneak should kill it. But otherwise, I do want this to be useful even after I've wasted, potentially, quote unquote, the weakness policy. And so Shadow Sneak comes out from Max Stack Adamant, still does decent damage. I can still Toxic King Shield. So it's sort of twofold. It can be used once with the weakness policy and then used again with the Toxic King Shield, and hopefully does enough of a job to keep me in the game for like an extra 2 turns, which is all I need. This game is going to be incredibly offensive, incredibly difficult. So just an extra couple turns is really, really important here. And the last mon I'm going to be rocking out with this week is the Tapu Fini, my win con this week. It is Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Draining Kiss, and Taunt, and we are going to see how many boosts we can get. That's it. That's what we're here for. If this thing can come in mid-game safely, and get it like an Iron Defense boost off, then Scizor is going to struggle to break it. Zygarde starts struggling to break it almost immediately. Get a couple Calm Minds. You know, if I can Iron Defense, the Scizor comes in, I click Taunt. It can't Swords Dance and round me. I just click Calm Minds, Iron Defenses, keep taunting. Milotic can't haze because I have a little bit of speed investment to make sure that even a little bit of speed, you know, creeping Milotic doesn't outspeed me. And everything just stops being able to break me if I can get like 2 Calm Minds up. Even 1 Calm Mind on a Power Herb Blacephalon switch in would allow me to take the Solar Beam and then Calm Mind again. Then I can take any hit. Draining Kiss from +2 should be able to keep me out of range of anything killing me, barring crits, so don't get crit. Technically, status would ruin me after a few turns, but hopefully between taunts for things like Milotic and things that don't outspeed me, I'll be able to prevent things from like Toxic going up. Maybe I'll get burned, but I do have leftovers, and that's not going to ruin me. It's just a little bit frustrating because the Draining Kiss becomes my only recovery, but that's what we got. That's the set we're running this week. Hopefully it goes well. I will see you guys all back here tomorrow with that battle if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Twitch in a few minutes. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, everybody.